the hair is doing a flippy thing today. How fun. Not fun. Not fun at all. We have something in the background. Do you see it? It's right over here. It's a really pretty print. If you're interested where I got it, I can link it. I like the print, the framing. I also got done through the Etsy shop, but the framing is not great. I'd recommend getting the print and then maybe framing on your own, just because I wasn't super impressed with the framing. But anyway, it's here. It looks nice. I think it looks cool. So, hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ivy, or welcome for the first time if you are new here. There are a lot of new people here. Thank you for joining me and subscribing and being here to chat all about makeup. Today's video is hotly requested. Now, I give all credit for the topic of this video to Riley, Seeking Shifts on Instagram and YouTube. I will, of course, put all of her details down below. I talk about Riley a lot. She might start putting a restraining order against me because I literally talk about her all the time. She makes wonderful content, and so I just can't help but sing her praises. But she, I believe, I don't want to misquote, but I believe she kind of coined the term spicy neutrals. Not kind of. I'm 99% sure that she is to blame for that, but in the best possible way. I just really took to that. That term really resonated with me, and it's the kind of thing that I am constantly seeking in my daily makeup collection, are what I would call spicy neutrals. She recently did her, spicy neutrals video. I think for her, that was definitely one of the most requested videos that she's ever had to do, and hers was wonderful. I will, of course, link it down below. I wanted to do my spicy neutrals video finally, and let's just say I let loose. I just let myself go, and I did not make a lot of edits. So this is quite a big compilation of spicy neutrals. I am really excited to share with you my take on the spicy neutrals tag, if you want to call it that, and just show you my kind of everyday shades. However, I would like to make a disclaimer. I love a disclaimer at the beginning of a video. My disclaimer is just that I am using the term neutrals very broadly. I just feel like neutral, the word neutral can mean so many different things to so many different people, depending on your skin tone, how you like to wear your makeup, what your general tastes are, what colors you wear in your wardrobe. Like, neutral just means something different to everybody. So when you see the shades that I have in this palette, just know that I know for a lot of you, some shades that I'm showing you, you might not think of as neutral at all, but maybe to somebody else they are. One person's neutral is another person's vibrant bright. I don't know. All I know is that these shades really spoke to me as a wide range of neutrals, and so I really didn't edit myself. I just included everything that I felt like fit this category for me in my current collection. So what are we going to do in this video? We are going to do some swatches of all of the shades that I chose, some close-up macro shots of each shade. I am also going to show you a couple of eye looks that I did with some different shades in the palette, and then we're just gonna, close it on out and say goodnight. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, please definitely give it a like and subscribe before you leave it. I would love to have you join me on this channel, and thank you so much in advance if you do. All right, let's get into it. Dive into the shades, shall we? So I want to start off with the shade Majestic by Glaminatrix. So Glaminatrix is a brand that I am newer to trying, and I've been really impressed with the formulas so far. I have only tried 2 bundles from them, so I have a total of 8 shades, 2 mattes, and then 6 kind of other formulations, whether they're shimmer or like multi-chrome, duochrome shades. This shade Majestic I got as part of their Woodfire quad, which I was instantly attracted to. This shade in particular just stuck out to me right away as being super duper beautiful. And of course, it was the first one that I dropped. I dropped it. It was horrific, but luckily I think I was able to save the shadow. I repressed it as best I could, and it's been working so far, but it is a little more on the delicate side. But the shade is really, really beautiful. And to me, this is an ultimate spicy neutral. It definitely has more of a sheer base, but it has some pigment to it, and I would describe it as kind of like a very sandy, beigey, shimmery sparkle topper type shade. It has flecks of blue and green and little bits of orange sparkle in it, and is so beautiful. I am so sad that I dropped the shade, but thank God I was able to save it, because I'm still wearing the crap out of it. I do have a lot of shades in here from Looxi Beauty. I find that spicy neutrals is actually a type of shade that they do exceedingly well. There's a lot of similarities in shades that I have here, but you know what was really fun? I thought that a lot of these shades in my collection were going to be somewhat duplicates of each other from Looxi specifically, and after I put them all in the box and swatched them all, I'm like, no, they're actually pretty different from each other, which was kind of a relief actually, because I was like, do you have like 16 of the same shade? No, thankfully I do not. But yeah, you'll see I have a lot of Looxi in here. Some shades I've shown you before, some are new. I'm gonna start with Angel Wings. So Angel Wings is probably, I have butterfingers. I have butterfingers. Anyway, take a deep breath, Ivy. Angel Wings, I think I've shown you before, is one of their more popular shades. It is extremely foily and does kind of sheer out to this like ultra sparkly formula. And again, this is probably more of what I would describe as like a sheerer base, you know, not a lot of base pigment, but tons and tons of sparkle. It just is like a sparkle bomb, and it's got a smoother formula, so it doesn't end up being really piecey. When you blend it out, I would say it goes more of that, you know, kind of high shine metallic formula. This shade has like lots of green and pink in the flip, so when you hit the light, you just see a lot of those beautiful shifts to it. But it is a super duper stunner, great for a little bit of shine in your everyday look. Okay, the next shade is Social Butterfly from Looxi. This is part of that same Looxi collection that was all about butterflies and butterfly names and all that good stuff. This is Social Butterfly, and it has much more of a deeper kind of coppery gold base pigment to it. Still super very, very high shine, lots of sparkle, same kind of formula as Angel's Wings. It sheers out to this like beautiful smooth metallic, and again just really lights up a look. This one doesn't have as many shifts to it, but it's so sparkly and so beautiful, like it doesn't even matter. It definitely has some contrasting sparkles in it, just not as many as Angel's Wings, but it's really, really beautiful. And I love this for like a neutral everyday look. It's gorgeous. So the next shade is Harvest by Terra Cosmetics. This is one of the first shades that I ever got from the brand. I consider it an OG, and it is the perfect fall shade. It is more of this green, gold, brownish flip shade. Like it's a duochrome, but it's a lot softer. Like the shifts in it aren't super in your face, which I think actually lends itself much better to being kind of a spicy neutral versus a very like intense pigmented shade. It is a beautiful brownish orangey, almost like pumpkin-y base color, and then it has that amazing yellow and green shift to it. And this is my kind of shade. Like this Harvest shade and Hot Spice Cider from Terra Moons, two of my all-time, like I said, OG favorite shades from the brand. And if you like warm neutrals, this is going to be something that you really love. Again, a smoother formula that blends out to be one of those really beautiful metallics. That's just the kind of formula that I'm super attracted to, and blends beautifully on the eyes. All right, this next shade is Bronze Fountain. This is a Clionadh shade, and I would consider this like the ultimate spicy neutral. honestly. The Earth Vibrant Multichromes from Clionadh are the perfect place to play if you're looking for kind of these spicy everyday neutrals, and Bronze Fountain just really hits the nail on the head. It has amazing green, pink, and gold sparkles in it that shift. You know, you can almost like get that little bit of that fuchsia turn to it, but at its core, it is this beautiful bronzy, warm neutral, and I really, really love this shade. This is an all-time favorite of mine. Of all my Clionadh shades, I think the Earth Vibrant Multichromes are probably my favorite type of shade. Okay, I've said it before and I'm saying it again. I pretty much can't do a single shadow video without calling out one of the Earthborn collection shades between Riley Seeking Shifts and Shine by SD. And since this is the Spicy Neutrals video, which is completely thanks to Riley, I absolutely had to include at least one of the shades from the collection. And I was really torn about which one to include, but at the end of the day, I felt like Crown Flash is kind of the spiciest of the neutral shades from the brand. Now these shades from Shine by SD have a drier formula, but it gives it that really piecey sparkle. That's something that I absolutely love on the eyes. It is something that to me sings on your face in a way that a lot of other shades don't. And so while I do love a high shine metallic, there's something about these like drier, piecier, sparkly shades that really just are incredible. So you can see the shifts in this beautiful shade. I love that it goes from kind of this soft pink to a very light copper yellow to all the way to a bit of a green. Has the most neutral kind of feeling to it, but yet it is definitely super duper spicy. And I love to pair this shade with nice neutral matte colors for like an everyday look. It always is a fantastic topper and just a great like last addition to any look. So this is Big Bang, another Looxi Beauty shade. This one's actually newer to me. I almost included a different shade that's similar to this called Cookies and Cream, but I ended up feeling like Big Bang was a little more neutral. This is definitely leaning on the pink side as far as neutrality. So if you're someone that likes more rosy neutrals, I think you're really going to like this one. It is a beautiful kind of sheerer pink with a blue flip to it. And I absolutely cannot get enough of these kinds of shades. They just wear so beautifully on the eyes. And that just like blue flip with, you know, the pink undertones is just, yeah, it's just one of my favorite types of shades. Big Bang is really beautiful. Like I said, they have other neutral shades in the collection that are similar to this. I think Cookies and Cream is close but a little cooler, and this is a little bit warmer. I just love, love, love how liquidy and beautiful this looks on the eyes. Okay, so this next shade, again, another Looxi Beauty shade. This is called Hybrid. I believe I've shown you this shade before. This falls into that more darker kind of brown blue pigment with a much more of a pink purple undertone. Again, I'm using the term neutral very broadly, and so I know a lot of you would not consider this a neutral just because it is so pink and purple, but in my mind, this is, for a lot of people, going to serve as a beautiful neutral, especially when paired with really neutralizing mattes, whether it's grays or browns or even a little bit of black. Like, this is the kind of shade that when you pair it with those other things is going to end up feeling a lot more neutral. So of the shades that I've collected in this box, it certainly leans quite purple and quite pink, but the neutralizing factor comes when you pair it with other shades. And so I really like this one, and I think that Hybrid is just a great everyday shade. I reach for it quite a bit. I did say I was going to share a lot of Looxi, and I was not kidding. It's just a kind of shade that they do really well. So this is another Looxi Beauty shade. This is called Snickerdoodle. I happen to know that this is one of the all-time most popular shades for the brand, with good reason. This one leans a lot more cool toned than Hybrid does. It has a lot more blue and gray in it, so it comes off as icier. And I think a lot of you might find it to be more neutral than perhaps Hybrid is, but it still has that pink and purple undertone to it. But as I said, it's a lot more blue and icy and grayish. So especially if you pair this with like browns and grays, it's going to read much more neutral on the eyes. It has that kind of like wet pebble effect to it. I think it's gorgeous. And this is one of the shades that as soon as I saw some of my favorite creators swatch it, I was like, yes, this is absolutely a spicy neutral that I must have. Snickerdoodle is great. Okay, so this next shade is Carving by Clionadh. I think I've talked about this one before as well, and I happen to know that Carving is also one of Riley's favorite shades as well. I can't remember if she included it in her spicy neutrals video, but I think she did. And it is a top favorite again with good reason. This is actually quite similar to, I would say, both Hybrid and Snickerdoodle. It's almost a mashup of the two. It has the kind of icier, grayer blue undertones and still has that like purplish kind of flip to it, but it's just not as blue as Snickerdoodle, and it's not as purple as Hybrid. It's really quite in the middle, and it is a beautiful, beautiful everyday neutral. I think that this is, again, one of my favorite shades from Clionadh. I reach for Carving all the time. In fact, it is what I have on my eyes today. I paired it with a bunch of mattes, and then the only shimmer that I have on my eyes is Carving. It gives you that really beautiful flip, and you can see that on the eyes, especially when paired with the browns that I use for my matte shades. It really isn't reading purple at all. You're just seeing a bit of that blue flip. And then the purplish shades kind of just blend into the neutral mattes. So I love it. I love it. I love it. It's great. Okay, I think a lot of you might give me grief for the next shade because it is probably the furthest away from a neutral of any shade in the box, and I almost didn't include it. And then I was like, Ivy, why do that to yourself? Why deny yourself if you want to include it? So the next shade is another Looxi Beauty shade, and this one is called Howl at the Moon. It is much more yellow gold green than, again, any shade that I've swatched so far, so I know a lot of you would not consider it a neutral, but I myself reach for this kind of shade all the time. This is a lot more of an everyday shade for me, and therefore I really felt like I wanted to include it. Again, I'm using the term neutral quite broadly, but this is also just a beautiful shade, and I just wanted to show it to you. So Howl at the Moon has more base pigment, I would say, than some of the earlier shades that I showed you, more of that gold metallic base pigment, but you can definitely sheer it out, and it has that strong green citron flip to it. It glows. It really, really glows, and I think that this is such a beautiful center sparkly metallic shade, like really, really beautiful. And if you like kind of goldish greens, or if that's your thing and you have been looking for something to fill out that in your collection, I think Howl at the Moon is a really wonderful option. All right, next shade, another Looxi Beauty shade. Sorry guys, I know that I'm just realizing now just how much Looxi is in here, but you know, like I said, they do it really well. Okay, so this is Chocolate Cherry from Looxi. This is much more gray, I would say, than probably anything else that I have included here. It's a gray, kind of stony, pebbly metallic with a blue flip. Really beautiful. If you like cool toned neutrals, this is going to be one of your best friends, just because it can read truly grungy gray, but it really does have a beautiful blue flip to it. And so on the eyes, it is just like a gorgeous cool tone neutral. I love this shade. I really do. I mean, obviously, I love all of the shades that I'm sharing with you today. They are my favorite spicy neutrals. But this one in particular, just if I'm looking for something that is going to complement a cool toned look and add a little bit of sparkle and a little bit of shine, but not overpower it, I think that this shade is an ideal partner for any of those cool tone looks. This is our last Looxi Beauty shade. We've made it to the end of the Looxis. This is Abracadabra, and again, I know that this is a really top performing shade for the brand. I know that just because people talk about it all the time. I feel like this and Snickerdoodle and Hybrid, I hear people talk about it all the time. This lives again in that kind of like stony gray category, but it definitely has more of that magenta flip to it, and a lot of a much stronger blue kind of sheen. So if you were to compare this to Chocolate Cherry, this has a much stronger blue flip. It's not as stony, it's a little warmer, has more of that magenta undertone. But again, really beautiful, high shine, blends out to this beautiful metallic. And Abracadabra, I think, would probably make a lot of people's spicy neutrals list just based on who I hear talking about Looxi beauty shades. It's great. I think it's a shade that you can get. I did have a viewer comment on one of my older videos that Looxi like restocks a certain way or something. I don't know. I have to go back and like reference that comment because I noted in one of my other videos that they do sell out of shades and they don't always restock them. But apparently they do restock them. I don't know. I'm not in on the like Looxi, the Looxi forums or whatever, but all of that is to say that if I recommend a shade and you're interested in it, just check the website and see if it's there. And if it's not there, there's a good chance they'll still get it back. This is our second to last shade. This is Interstellar by Terra Cosmetics. This is, again, a much more like purple blue shade than a neutral, but if you're someone that wears a lot of darker looks and you're someone that wears a lot of reds and pinks or even really warm browns, like this is probably going to be a more of a neutral shade for you. It's just a really beautiful fuchsia purple undertone to it, and that, again, very prominent blue flip. It's extremely pigmented and high shine, not super sparkly, just very metallic. And I love to pair this with either deep browns or even, you know, a dark purple or something like that. But I find that, again, when you pair it with the right mattes, it can be quite neutral. And Interstellar is another one of those OG shades from Terra Moons that I've loved for a long time. I felt like it made sense within this box. We did it. We are at our last shade. This is Shard by Clionadh. It's very similar to the last shade I showed you by Terra Moons, but it is even more red purple. I'm gonna try and swatch it live for you. So what? That's one swipe. It's one swipe. Y'all, Clionadh don't play around. They don't play around. They are, I keep telling you, they're one of my favorite indie brands, and they have not lost their spot. So Shard has blue in it for sure, as you can probably see, but it is much more purple and much more red than the Terra Moons Interstellar shade. It's just, it goes a little bit more to that warm pink than Interstellar does. Interstellar stays more in that purple realm, and then this just goes much, much deeper and warmer. And it still has that blue flip, but it's probably, I would say, not as prominent. And honestly, I'm looking at it now and I'm realizing I should wear this shade more than I do. I don't know why I haven't reached for it as much. I feel like in the pan, that shade can look a little intimidating, but on the eyes, it's beautiful. I've worn it many times and it is gorgeous. I think that and Interstellar are the deepest shades in my box, and on someone like me who has fair to medium skin tone, or I should say light to medium skin tone, they do read darker on me. But on someone with a deeper skin tone, I feel like they would read even more neutral than they do on me. And so again, I wanted to include a real range because what might even be less of a neutral on me could very well be incredibly neutral on someone else. So I really did try to give you a range. Okay, so that is all of the individual swatches. I hope that they were helpful. I'm going to go ahead and swatch all of the shades together on my arm just to give you, again, a look at everything all together and maybe help you compare some of the shades one by one. And then we're gonna get into a little bit of footage of the eye looks and close things out. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, trying to swatch all 15 of those shades on my arm and then film it was quite challenging, so I really hope that you appreciated it. So that is the box as it stands of my favorite spicy neutrals. Of course, this is always subject to change as I find and introduce new things into my collection, but I have to say that I feel really good about the box as it stands, and I do think that there's such a good wide range of what one might consider a neutral. Hopefully it'll give you ideas about what in your own collection you might consider a spicy neutral, and if you do, I would love to hear what those shades are. I'm very, very curious, as always, to hear about other people's favorite shades and what's in their collection that they love. So please let me know in the comments or tag me on Instagram. I love to see what you guys do all the time. So I did do this eye look that I'm wearing today. I will cut to some close-up footage of it as well, where I show off the shade Carving by Clionadh as my central spicy neutral. I did pair it with a bunch of mattes. I think they were from Jason Wu Beauty, the Flora 25 palette. Love Carving. It really does read as this kind of like greenish blue, silver, icy, everyday neutral shade, and it applies beautifully like all the Clionadh shadows do. I love, love, love their formula, and I will sing its praises till the end of time. So if you're looking for a great neutral from the collection, I do think Carving is a wonderful option. So in the second look that I did, I wanted to try and play with a few of the warmer tones in the box. So I pulled out Harvest, which is again one of my favorite OG shades from Terra Moon's Cosmetics. I included a little bit of Angel's Wings just to kind of lighten it up in that inner corner, and I even whipped out a bit of Bronze Fountain, so I kind of meshed the three of those together, and then again paired it with some nice warm toned neutrals, and I really love how that look came together too. I think that the warm tones are just always something that I'm used to leaning towards. Only in more recent times have I gotten into cool tones, and that's been more my jam, but historically warm tones have just been my bread and butter. So anyway, that is the two looks that I did. I hope that they give you some ideas for how to use neutrals in your own collection. I had so much fun putting this collection together and sharing with you some of my favorite singles that, again, for me, fall into that category of the spicy neutral. I want to say a big thanks again to Riley, Seeking Ships, for the idea to do this video, and as always for all the inspiration. I love you, Riley. You are the best. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I really, really want to know what your favorite spicy neutrals are, so please put that down in the comments below. I will look forward to reading your lists of faves. That just is the kind of content that I'm here for. So thank you in advance. And again, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like before you leave it and subscribe so that you can hang out with me for more future videos. I cannot wait to see you in the next one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.